Well, happy Sunday, folks. Alec here, admin for the group and many other groups. So we're talking about the tiny little Sonulab today. I've been doing this experiment with the little one, taking what's going to be my first pack in a long time commercially from Boutique Tones. Try and swing this thing around. I'm using a little RK2000 as a telephone thing. So talking about these here. Dofix pedals, who is a cousin of my wife, Stefano Carlesi. Welcome, Stefano. I saw these and got interested, so really wanted to try them out. Now, this here screen is a touch screen, so you can pretty much go and muck about with it. And the idea is you get a pack of these things. I think it's like 30 bucks or something like that, 30 euro, from an Italian company. And those are all A2 NAM thingies, which I have here somewhere, or did. Whole bunch of stuff. So what do you get? Dante, David, Lusuria, Michelangelo, which is a complicated thing. It's got germanium, silicone, what do you call these? F-thingies, all different types of distortion. And they've also got the Persio in there. So a whole bunch of pedals in one pack. Now, I've seen these. I haven't really played with them. Maybe 10 years ago when they were first starting out. I went and met this little cousin when they were at a little sideshow, and I thought, okay, cool. These guys, Boutique Tones, have a lot of great reviews. I've asked Stefano to try and give me a contact over there so I can have a chat with them. They all seem to be A2. Carmelo went and looked at that and saw it. So I wanted to basically just run you through, kind of from a newbie point of view, how I'm using that rig. Let me put that away. So this here is my big touch screen, and it's running on a Mac. It's a Dell 24 2-inch screen, and a lot of the stuff that I do with all of these is about the man-machine use of it. So you can zip through here. I think you all know that. Choose different settings, and I've actually got my Sonulab here on the desk. I can show you how it's being done. This is very hard to film like this, but basically I come in wireless, straight cable into this Sonulab, the tiny wee one. And what I've been thinking to do with this, and this is going off to the Boss Katana Go, and that's going into the back of the amp over there. So basically, I'm looking at the different ways that you could work with all this sort of gear. As you can see, I have multiple touch screens up, and I do everything by touch. So running in there, I can go into the tiny little Katana Go and add extra echo. Can go here, add extra echo and modulation, and another tape delay. Extra reverb if you wanted. So all well and cool. As you can tell, I'm an effects guy, but for the amps, once you're loading these things in here, as you can see here, you've got full access to them, so you can go and open the list. Down the bottom here, Dante, Lusuria, I've got to get rid of some of this stuff and then put in more. But each one of these, Dante 1, 2, and 3, Lusorio 1, 2, and 3, those are basically the same pot positions on the pedal, but they've got on the website where they've actually put them, like 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, all that sort of stuff. So they go up as you go along in drive. What I've done with mine, I started at preset 8 to 14. No, I don't want to do that. Stop it. Go back here. What I tend to do is just spin the knob on the unit. And you'll see up there it's changing. Rather than try and get this exactly as it should be, I tend to look at the gain, the models, and all that sort of stuff, and just adjust them to taste. Really handy up here, having your inputs and outputs. Frigging around with the sound, the depth, the presence as you like, lowering the volume if need be from here, per preset or right on the unit. All very handy. So you've got access to all that there. Access to, over here, Katana Go and the amp itself, which you can see I've got the volume turned off. So that's basically coming in, just amp, sometimes mod, sometimes reverb, sometimes I'm just messing with it, but mostly it's just the A2 capture of that pedal. Going out from that into the front of the Katana Go. There's a boost in there, center overdrive, and this has been a really fun bit. So currently I'm going with the Dante in the third, the highest one. And you can flick through all of these without losing, so no fuzz. I've usually got the slow gear on, we turn it off. Much faster attack. Let's turn off the DC-30. The rest of this stuff, as you can see, plate reverb, delay, and pitch, which is what you're hearing. That's with everything turned off. Gate up front. So usually with all this crap on there, I don't even bother using a gate because everything is drowned in reverbs, delays, and I'm getting all this lovely sounds. Way too high. Metal is not really my thing. Back to clone. So just to say, testing this thing out so far, I'm kind of wondering, because I'm no expert in these things. I have done years and years of modeling, but borrowing other people's presets like this and messing around, I don't know. That to me seems a good way to do it. Is there another way in which you should be setting this up to be exactly like the pedal, or does it matter? In my opinion, it really doesn't. I'd be interested to hear whatever you guys are saying. So apart from this little show and tell of touch screen interfaces and working at a desk, the next step is to shrink all that into the little bridge here and see how much of that display information can go on there or on the other two 6s, which make a nice big display, because most of the time I'm not around all this. Usually I'll have an iPad or the iPhone with which I'm filming this, and that's enough to gain access to everything. Let me bring in the other amp. Come on, thing. So that whole line there is in parallel. Slow gear is not running here, it's running on the other one. Now 2 paths. Let's go to this 14th one with extra delay. So, just a heads up, to give you some kind of an idea of the test that I'm doing there, a lot of it is all of this. Man-machine interfaces, getting the stuff working, getting the sounds balanced between them, and trying out different stuff. Because aside from the boss thing here, off, also got the Beam Solo, which is now doing 8.2. That's the big news for this week. So that's doing NAM. These are doing NAM. And typically, I'm taking the little tiny guy here and mashing that in with the Pro and the Helix stuff and the Vailton and all that. And seeing basically just from ground up, how can these things work best within the traditional modeling world? All of my stuff is Helix or other pedals, you know? Like that beastie. Totally cool. So I'll keep you updated. I'm supposed to hear from these boutique tone guys and see if maybe we get a discount code for the group. Maybe, you never know. See what's what, but I'd be interested to know, has anyone else used boutique tones for their things? What do you think about it? To me, first run through, it sounds good. I'm particularly interested in, I wouldn't say avoiding tone 3000, but there's just so much stuff in there. If there's an easier way, why not? You know, maybe 1 or 2 different things, and then from there, I think it would be interesting to see what guys do with the sharing system that we set up, where you can share your Sonulab precepts and leave your own captures in a nice organized fashion. The entire preset instead of just trading the capture slide. The rest of it to me is pretty interesting. The entire wet side of the thing, all of the effects, the best way to set them up, all that. So there you go. happy Sunday. If you're new to the group, get comfortable, go back, read through all the stuff. There's a lot going on. I know for sure. What was I telling you about the pitch thing? Yeah. The guys at Sonulab have been working on pitch to add into the thing. We're trying to get together more stuff on the Midi. They did a lot recently. The editor that you saw there was for the old Little Stomp station. And all that is now really changed up. So that can run A2, but the editor still needs to be brought into line with what the Pro is doing. The Pro is pretty wicked. We're gonna see after doing this. So basically using that as a glorified amp. And by the way, for guys who did come in, this one seems to power it off the PC right now. Doesn't have a problem with noise, doesn't really seem to have any problems with other stuff. The Pro, I can't remember who was the guy that had this problem, but it was my same problem on the first night. The Pro is more delicate. You gotta find a clean source of power. This here is what I use. I shove that under a board. I usually use the Dario expand boards, which are super good for holding this kind of stuff. And those batteries can be Velcroed right underneath, as you see. And then no worries. Shove a couple of pedals in front of it. There's plenty of really cool things. It takes big, blasting, powerful pedals like that really well. Has extremely high headroom, the Pro. Way better than this little Velton, but I gotta say, this thing, I still like it a lot. Battery integrated, all the stuff that moves. I guess that would be my thing. Like, try as much gear as possible. Decide which way to go. Decide, are these things useful? Is having colored lead rings like this, which the Pro doesn't have, you've got the little things like that. That's really the stuff I look at. How much useful man machine stuff can you get? So we'll go back into the big bridges and all the other stuff, or maybe a couple of simple ones, and see if anybody else has other questions. I know there's been some stuff on expression pedals, and I would definitely recommend that you find yourself something. These are no longer being made, but there's plenty of really good MIDI controllers out there, Morningstar for sure, where you can get your expression pedals on and really turn this thing into a ripper. If not, screens are very good if you're in studio. Be interested to know what you guys think of that. If you're playing live, it's a completely different thing. You gotta do all switches and simplify things. I'm much more into the studio side of it, of pulling up big sounds like that, multiple delays, multiple toys, cinematic stuff. So there you go. Enjoy.